Welcome to another episode of the Rhythm of the Road podcast. This podcast is not just about the journey, but also about the growth, transformation, and self-discovery that comes with life on the proverbial road. Grab a cup of joe, buckle up, and let's embark on a journey of self-discovery, creativity, and entrepreneurship. Let's get rolling.
Welcome to episode 25 of Rhythm of the Road podcast. I want to thank you for being a part of the journey and investing time in yourself and giving me a little attention during your week. However that looks for you, I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm grateful for all of you who are subscribing on the YouTube channel at Rhythm of the Road podcast. I'm thankful for all of you that are listening on all the audio platforms, wherever you are finding me, whether it's Apple or Spotify or Amazon or Deezer or a whole laundry list of other places that I don't even think most people know that they're there. However, somebody might be listening, so thank you. I was listening this morning and just working in my office, and it just prompted me to hop on here and wanted to record this episode. And I just want to talk about, I was listening to this concert. Actually, I'm listening and watching the concert from Hans Zimmer, and he gives all of this context and feedback. He wrote scores like Da Vinci Code and Crimson Tide and Lion King and Pirates of the Caribbean and The Gladiator, and just this whole widespread, enormous amount of work. I keep hearing these themes as he's talking and thinking, and the one thing that just keeps bubbling up and he keeps repeating is just having this passion and having a passion for who he is and what he does, and more importantly, those connections and those relationships that he's building as a result of. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about when you really are truly finding that passion, and not for only what you do, but for who you are. So many times we talk about having passion for what you do. And I was reading a quote of my own this morning as in my Facebook memories from like 5 or 6 years ago. And the quote was, "Music isn't just what I do, it's who I am." And then to again see this video and be watching this concert and have somebody like Hans Zimmer, who's a prolific composer and very well known, kind of saying the same thing. Like, this is just who I am. And it's an extension of breathing. And so what is it looking like for you to be open and aware to be discovering what that looks like for you? I think sometimes we try so hard to I got to find the thing. What if you just opened up and listened and allowed that thing to just resonate with inside you? It's probably already there. You've probably already been doing it. Things have already probably shown up and giving you an opportunity to dive into them. Or if you're like me, sometimes I've dove into it and went way deep and loved it and then pivoted from it. Or I pivoted from a version of it. And sometimes when we do that, we hit obstacles or roadblocks. And I think it's because we're pivoting away from where we're supposed to be. And I feel like the more you have this open mind and this open idea to just hearing and having receiving, let's call it a woo-woo type of energy moment, but just this idea of being open to hearing, seeing, experiencing, allowing it to come in, and then actually moving forward on it. And because it's one thing to find that passion for what you do and find that passion for who you are, but it's another thing to actually step into that and go after it and actually do it. Because I know for sure, and it's been my experience, and it's been some of the people that are in my inner circle, it's also been their experience that when they dive deep on that, things just go better. Things go easier. I'm not going to say that they're easy. I'm going to say that they're easier. And when we have that passion for something that we're doing, and we have that passion that's just driving us from the inside out, it just goes easier. You can get into what a lot of people call their flow state, which just means everything goes and flows and it's just easier. And it's easier from the standpoint of like, no matter what's coming at you, you're like, yep, I know those things are going to come at me and I'm going to go through them. And we might hit some spots where we feel uncomfortable and we have some opportunities to learn and or fail, but those failure moments are really just more opportunities to learn and grow and get through your comfort zone. And as I was kind of thinking about this idea of like what I'm passionate about and who I am, and as a creative, I use that word creative because yes, I'm a drummer, but I'm also a songwriter and a music producer and an audio producer and a graphics creator and also an author. So I'm using the written word, and then I like to use the visual. So I love creating images and things that inspire people visually, from something as what might seem simple as a logo to something that's wonderfully graphically photographic and just inspiring from a viewing standpoint. And I love the opportunity that many of the things that I get to do as a creative combine those things, whether it's video and audio, or it's somebody telling their story and narrating their book, or giving somebody an opportunity to bring their story to life. I think that's what's really important about us finding our passion, and our passion in what we're doing is we're telling and showing that story, and we're allowing it to unfold in real time, and we're allowing it to grow within us and also grow through it, whatever it is. So whatever, you know, your passion is for, is it for numbers? Is it for creating? Is it for developing people? Is it for leadership? Is it for strategy? Is it for just being open to the whatever the next thing is? I love connecting people. So I love creating relationships, and relationship creating isn't always for me or for the thing I'm doing. It might be I'm creating relationships and these connections for other people. And that passion for connecting through creativity has led to things like I was recording a book with a narrator and an author last week in Utah. And because of the connections that I made in Utah, I was able to connect that author with a local newspaper that is going to run a big story on her book and on her business that has an incredible story. And so making that connection through that creative moment and having those discussions and telling that story, that didn't have anything to do with me. And it wasn't because it was a benefit to me or my business, other than the fact that I benefited from the opportunity to bring those two people together, and completely by chance. There was no intentionality around it. And so just continuing for me to have that passion around creativity, that passion around for connecting others, and however that looks, whether that's connecting them through business or connecting them through creativity or connecting them because there's a collaboration opportunity. And you've heard on multiple episodes, if you've been listening and on this journey for a little while, like I love and thrive in that collaborative space and the synergy that comes because of that. So again, find that passion and be open to hear it, not only for what you're doing, but for who you are inside of what you're doing. And if you haven't found it yet, maybe just stop and take some silence. We've talked about silence. Take a moment, take a few breaths, and just listen, or just be aware. Sometimes closing our eyes and just having a visual moment about what that maybe even looks like gives us an opportunity to see, even though our eyes are shut, what might be coming. So thank you again for listening. Thank you for watching. For all of those new subscribers that are hit our channel, we hit over 100 new subscribers just in the last week. So thank you. I really appreciate all of you that have come along on this journey. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're listening to this on audio, do me a huge favor. Leave a review, because that helps more people find this podcast and more people to have an opportunity to have a moment during the week where they can just take a pause and invest in themselves a little bit. I appreciate you being on the road with me. I'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for cruising with me on this episode of Rhythm of the Road. Remember, the journey itself is the destination. Until next time, keep the rhythm flowing, and we'll see you down the road.